And it's my pleasure today to organize this webinar today. In today's webinar, we are going to introduce Lancaster University. My name is Janet Wong. I'm IEC Abroad Marketing Manager. And it's a great pleasure today. We invite Carol, who is Head of International Student Recruitment from Lancaster University. So if you are still applying for Lancaster University or really got an offer, you want to know more about Lancaster, today is a great time for you to know more about Lancaster University. And today we got audience from all over the world. We got people from China, India, Pakistan, Thai, and Nepal. So we have a variety of students are waiting for the webinar now. And today's webinar, it will last around 30 minutes. So Carol will talk through the Lancaster University, the common question people are curious about Lancaster University. And at the end of the session, we'll leave 10 minutes for you to ask any questions you want. So if you can see on your right-hand side, there's a chat box, and you can type any questions you want. And at the end, we will pick the most common questions for anyone, and at the end of the session. So if you have any questions during the session, welcome to post anything during the chat box. And so welcome, Carol. I will hand over you to now.
Hello, everybody. Carl here. Very nice to meet you. My name is Carl Abbey. I am the Head of International Student Recruitment at Lancaster University. I'm delighted to be able to speak to you today via webinar. At this point of the year, we would usually be on aeroplanes flying around the world to meet you in person, but we are very grateful of this opportunity with IEC Abroad to be able to speak to you about the wonderful offering we have here at Lancaster University. Just so I don't distract you, I'm going to turn off my camera for the moment and we'll run through the presentation. As Janet said, we will be doing about 20 minutes through the presentation, and that will give you about 10 minutes towards the end of the presentation to ask as many questions as you have, and we will seek to answer them there. If there are any very specific questions, we'll be more than happy, and IEC Abroad will be more than happy to support you offline once the webinar has completed. So I'm going to turn off my camera and we'll move through the presentation. So today we're talking about Lancaster University. Lancaster is an incredible place to be and an incredible place to work. We effectively have a campus-based university in the northwest of the UK, a huge range of programs on offer here with students from over 140 countries currently studying on taught programs, and about 35% of the Lancaster student population is actually international students. There are about 6,500 students living on campus here, and through the course of this webinar, I'll go into a bit more detail on the structure of the campus and what we have to offer you. But today, really, we're going to focus on a couple of key areas. What makes Lancaster great is probably the start of it. We'll then talk a little bit about the programs we have on offer here. We'll talk about the requirements briefly as we go through. Tuition fees, I'll give you an indicator of the 2020 fees. Our new fee 2021 will be published in the coming weeks. And I'll also talk very briefly about scholarships here. It's not a huge area here at Lancaster, but we will talk a little bit towards the end about scholarships as we go through. So what makes Lancaster stand out? Lancaster is a very, very well-ranked university. We are based, for those of you who may not know where we are, we're based in the northwest of England. It's about an hour from Manchester Airport to Lancaster, and about 2.5 hours to Edinburgh in the north. Right, a coastal city, and we're right beside Morecambe Bay. But Lancaster University itself is a very historic city, but about 15,000 people are here and students are here on campus every day. As I said earlier, about 6,500 students live on campus in nine different colleges, which a little bit more detail in a while. What makes us strong? Our ranking is probably our key students looking to come to study with us. As you can see, we are university, 8th in sometimes this year, 7th in the 7th in the Guardian. So among the best UK universities, but also coming very rapidly in the QS World Ranking, and also THE ranking this year. We've actually risen as well. The reason for our ranking is really a mix. It's not just about academic delivery. It's certainly not just about academic outcomes. It's very much that Lancaster is a broad spectrum university with quality in absolutely every area that we operate in. And that's measured, I suppose, in the quality of teaching and the recognition we have for that. For those of you who are aware of it, the Teaching Excellence Framework is a government organised measuring system, I suppose, for the quality of university education, and gold is the highest you can achieve on the TEF, as it's called. So Lancaster has held that consistently for a number of years now. In terms of research excellence, again, another important factor for students looking to study with us at all levels is how is our research informing what they do. So we have about 83% of Lancaster's research is world leading, and again we are consistently breaking boundaries on the quality of the research that happens here on campus. This slide is missing some text, but we will include it in an email or our communication later. The reason Lancaster is loved by our students is the facilities that we have available for students. We're constantly upgrading, including the addition of a new sports centre, which will be open in July. But our campus facilities are amazing, to be honest. On campus, we have almost everything a student would need, from shops to restaurants to post offices, a cinema, a theatre, an incredible new sports centre, purpose-built brand new academic and recreational facilities on campus. And as I said earlier, about 6,500 of our students live here across the 9 colleges that we operate for our students staying with us. Lancaster was last year named the International University of the Year, and that was recognition of our outlook globally. Apart from the fact that we're one of the most international universities for students coming here to Bailrig in Lancaster, we also have 4 additional campuses off-site now in Germany, in Ghana, in China, and a very, very strong and large collaboration with Sunway University, which has about 4,000 Lancaster students studying in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. So again, a truly global outlook, lots of global opportunities. We partner with universities around the world, over 100 of them, for student exchange programs, study abroad programs, and even programs where they are appropriate for the students' course of studies. As you can see, we are one of the top 100 most international universities according to the Times Higher Education. As I said already, students from over 100 countries, 60% of our postgraduates are actually international, with about 35% overall. 30% of staff are actually overseas teaching staff, a huge network of international partners, and again, a global from about each one of those alumni networks is and alumni chapters. In terms of our quality, we are obviously said 83% internationally excellent of research. When you look at the of our subject areas individually, mix on that particular slide, from politics, philosophy to business management. Business management is actually our most popular area in the UK for research power in that particular area. Sociology, again, ranked 3rd for world-leading research. Maths and statistics, computing and communications, and English language and literature. Really, really high rankings in that particular area for research. One of the key differences between Lancaster and other universities is how we actually manage our accommodation and how we host the international students study with us. Down into 8 undergraduate colleges and 1 postgraduate college. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with what a college is like, I advise you to think Harry Potter. So in Harry, you have Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and we have similar structures. 8 of our undergraduate colleges are broken into different areas. Each one of them have their own security, their own welfare teams, their own entertainment teams, and their own, I suppose, communities based not around what subject you're studying, but every accommodation college will have students from every discipline from all over the world living together. You have to assign a college when you choose the type of accommodation that you wish to live in, and that will then indicate which of the colleges you're assigned. Even our staff members here are assigned colleges. So my college is Furness, which is probably best known for sports and music, is one of the key areas that my college would be known for. But every student would apply, they would come and live in their colleges, and that will allow you to form, I suppose, lifelong bonds with students from all over the world, studying in very different areas and just creating your own community. Within that, you can have inter-college sports, inter-college quizzes and team competitions. Each college will have a very active social calendar as well. So lots to do here on campus for the students who do live here with us. As I said, everything we do here, it is a collegiate campus. If you see the slides, you'll see the Lancaster campus itself. Now, while it does look exceptionally green around the campus itself, that's kind of typical of the area, but the city of Lancaster is just out of shot to the north there, and you can actually get into the city within minutes from the campus itself, and there are buses going very frequently from the centre of campus to take you in. Our students love it here. We've had a lot of students who rarely venture off campus because, as I said already, we already have most of the things they will need, including banks, post offices and restaurants. So it is a very focused environment for them, but also plenty to do when they're not in their studies or in their classes. Just again, another couple of quick pictures to show you what it looks like. It is quite a modern campus now. The picture on the right has been developed again, and we've just got a brand new health innovation campus, a new library extension, and a brand new management school just being completed in time for next year's students to arrive. The accommodation at Lancaster is exceptional. Apart from the fact that it's been broken into a collegiate structure, we have been consistently voted the best student accommodation in the UK for 8 of the last 9 years. I believe Lancaster has been #1. Our students who live on campus love it, and it comes in a huge range of options from shared dormitories right up to studio apartments, or for postgraduate researchers, even family apartments where you can bring your family with you and live on campus in a dedicated family space. So lots of option, very, very reasonably priced, and priced across a range of options, as I said, from shared accommodation and shared dormitory facilities right up to studio apartments and family apartments. As I said, there it is. The options available are self-catering. There is also catered accommodation, and so students can select to have meal plans, which will provide them with a number of meals each day while they're within term. And that again is good for students who may not want to cook or may not feel that they want to give up the time to prepare their own food. There are catering facilities in each college, and there are also restaurants throughout the campus for students who want to purchase food on an ongoing basis. We're an extremely safe university. There is a consistent and constant security presence on campus. All of the accommodation will include all of your bills. So the price that you're paying when you actually join is inclusive of everything that you would need to pay. So what are the most popular majors in Lancaster? We're very, very fortunate that aside from our overall ranking, we have an exceptionally high subject ranking in a number of key areas. So in the arts and social sciences, you can see there we have contemporary arts, English and creative writing. Our creative writing program is actually the best in the UK. It's #1. Law and criminology, languages and cultures, linguistics and English language. For linguistics, we're actually 12th in the world. It's an incredible program area, and a huge number of students look to study with us each year in that area. Our management school is exceptional. It's actually quadruple accredited. So that means it's accredited by AMBA, which is the Association of MBAs. They accredit our MBA program, but also they accredit our MSc in management as well, which is a fantastic achievement by the school. We are also accredited by AACSB, EQUIS, and a new and recent addition for us is the Small Business Charter. And the Small Business Charter is designed to measure the quality of teaching for students who are not looking to go into big corporations or large organizations, but are also looking to be working in entrepreneurial ways or for small family businesses, etc. So excellent to have that fourth accreditation. In science and technology, our most popular and most, I suppose, ranked areas are chemistry, our computing and communications, including data sciences and cybersecurity. Our engineering, in which we have the only engineering program we don't actually offer is civil engineering, but we have mechanical, mechatronic, electronic and electrical, and nuclear engineering is actually available here in Lancaster as well. Maths and statistics is extremely strong. Natural sciences, our physics department is very fortunate in that it has had huge investment in facilities and structures, and the ISO lab, which you may want to look up later online, is an incredible facility for research and is actually accessible to later stage undergraduate students as well. Our health and medicine programs are very, very strong. We do have a limited number of medicine places available for international students, but we have just benefited from the opening of a brand new health and medicine, the Health Innovation Campus, which will be open for students from October of this year coming. So what do you need to get in? Effectively, we have a fairly broad set of requirements, and a lot of the individual programs will have specific requirements that we would encourage you always to check the website or seek the support of IEC abroad in exploring, so that you make sure you have the right requirements for the program you're interested in studying. But ultimately, for undergraduate students, we are looking for an A-levels equivalent average of between ABB and AAB, and our admissions team do have international equivalents in that area. So for CBSE in India, for example, that will be somewhere between 75 and 85%. For IB, it will be 32 to 36 points, with at least 16 of those coming from 3 higher level subjects. The Tanawaya will be a foundation entry, and we do have an on-campus foundation provider, the Lancaster ISC, who will be supporting students who require that foundation coming through. We have a range of English language programs, the most common being the 4-week and the 10-week programs for students who may not meet the initial English language requirement for their program of study. Again, the website will have a lot more detailed information, and each web page will tell you exactly what the equivalent qualification requirement is, as well as the English language. And our admissions team, and certainly IEC abroad team, will be able to support you in identifying what your qualification may be as an equivalent to what we have on our website. For master's degrees, the Lancaster average is usually a 2-1 degree or equivalent. Certainly for our business and management programs, there would be very little flexibility on that. We are a high quality university, and the entry requirements annually don't tend to dip below that 2-1 or equivalent requirement. Again, the English language requirement would usually range between 6.5 overall for IELTS, with no less than 6 in each band, or 7 in IELTS for no less than 6 in each band, depending on what subject area you're looking to study. Again, we would absolutely encourage you to check the website for further information on that. That's exactly what this slide is telling you, is please check so that the subject-specific requirements, it may be that you meet the overall requirement, but for certain programs, there will be additional subject requirements, or a prerequisite for additional knowledge, additional experience, or certainly work experience for our MBA program due to its accreditation. So please do check the website for additional information. How much are the tuition fees? Well, tuition fees for 2021 entry will be published shortly. The tuition fees for this year, again, they do tend to vary by program area. For the undergraduate programs, we're looking between £18,700 for an undergraduate program in arts and social sciences, right up to about £22,550 for areas in health and medicine, and technology. So again, the tuition fee relevant to your program of interest will be listed on the course page for that program. Or again, IEC Abroad or ourselves here at the university will be able to guide you along the way. So this is just a snapshot for you of what this year's fees are. And we will certainly be looking at 2021 information to be published in the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye on the website for that. There is a new undergraduate prospectus will be available with IEC Abroad in the next couple of weeks as well. And the postgraduate information, as well as our brand new international guide, will be available in September for students looking to join us in 2021. Now, scholarships is a bit of an interesting area for Lancaster. We tend to have a number of scholarships annually. The majority of those will be for students on taught programs coming into our management school. They're not usually too extensive. Some will be advertised, and even if you look at the website this year, you will see that for certain regions and for certain countries, there are publicized scholarships available. There are departmental scholarships that are applied to students who've been given an offer for Lancaster. And the way that works is when you apply to study with Lancaster, our admissions team will assess your qualifications. They'll assess the strength of your references and your statements of purpose. And then they will allocate, after you've already applied, they'll allocate a certain scholarship value if you are eligible to receive one. There's nothing you have to do with the majority of these scholarships. The admissions team will make the decision on your behalf in consultation with our departments, and they will notify you once you've received your offer if a scholarship is to be awarded. There are some scholarships at postgraduate level, particularly in the area of arts and social sciences, that will be offered to students who are making application for program areas. Again, there is a website available for scholarships on the faculty pages that you can check after this presentation. And again, IEC will be to help you. So a really quick summary, the management schools tend to have quite a few scholarships. There is no application process. They'll be applied automatically. Science and technology do have up to about £5,000. They mix between automatic award and then if there is a scholarship that you need to apply for, that information will usually be listed on the course page for the course you're applying for. And that comes to the end of the overall presentation. So we now have an opportunity for some questions.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Can you turn on the camera then we can see you? So now we will leave 10 minutes for you to type any questions you want.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, and you can type any question you want to at the end of the chat box. And when you are typing, and I can see you, I can show you, like, you can go to the IEC Abroad and Lancaster University website. If you are not quite sure whether you can apply for Lancaster University or which major you can apply for, and you can always go to IEC Abroad website and you can fill up the inquiry form, and one of the consultant, we can look after your application and help you to apply for the Lancaster University, and we will answer all the questions about Lancaster University for you. So now we can take a look at the questions students are asking at the moment.
Okay. So I can see the first one. I can see the first one from Jasmine.
Yeah. So Jasmine asked, do Lancaster Uni accept students from a low-ranking Chinese university but got high GPA applying for master?
Okay. Jasmine, thank you very much for your question. So Lancaster, again, a prestigious university, and we operate effectively a list of universities, Project 211, etc., that we would have our admissions team would work to. Now, IEC Abroad would be aware of which universities are on that list, and we tend to have roughly 140 to 150 different Chinese universities whose qualifications and awards we will accept to study here. I suppose the easiest way for you to find out is if you're intending to apply, to find out if your university is on the list. The easiest way it would be to work with IEC Abroad. They will work with our regional team to establish if your university would be accepted, even with a very high GPA. There is a defined list, but it's case by case for students who sit outside that particular list. Is that okay?
Thank you. We got another question from Jasmine, and she asked, what does 2.1 equivalent and what does 2.2 means?
Yeah, so a 2-1 equivalent, depending on which grading system you use, a 2-1 equivalent would be roughly 3.2 to 3.4 on a 4.0 GPA scale. It's usually over 70% on a percentage scale. So that's kind of the area we're looking for a 2-1. Around 3 GPA, 3 out of 4 is usually 2.2, a high 2.2, but we are looking for 3.2 to 3.4 on the 4.0 scale.
Thank you. So,
yeah, I can see them, so I can run through them as we're going through. So, Dana, do we have students from Saudi Arabia? We have a number of students each year coming across. On campus currently, there's probably 40 to 50. We also have our undergraduate ISC campus, so quite a lot of the students coming from Saudi Arabia would be enrolled with them first, and then they would transfer onto their main program. We also have quite a number of research students from Saudi Arabia who will join us for PhD programs. So absolutely, we do have Saudi Arabian students on campus. Do we accept students with a BBB score? Thank you very much for your question, Nasser. The simple answer to that is it really does depend on the program for. Typically, no would be the answer, but there may be times of the year, particularly around clearing and the clearing period of the UCAS system for graduates, where certain programs may have available spaces and they would consider applicants at level, but typically the answer to that would be no. Do you think it's a nerd which is more suitable for your enrollment? Interesting question, Summer. Thank you very much. I'm not a big fan of labels like nerd. What we're looking for here at Lancaster is people who are very well-rounded. One of the things Lancaster is not just a group of very smart, very intelligent people. It's people who have social skills. It's about people who are certainly academically strong, but also people who can contribute to the culture of the university and the community of the university while they're here as well. And we cater for everybody, and we don't like labels, and everybody has a place here on campus. If you want to define yourself as a nerd, there are plenty of other people who do exactly the same. What's the difference between British education and Chinese education? That is very good. And it's a question that I suppose a lot of students should be asking. The core difference between education in China and the UK and many other countries in the UK is the amount of independent learning that you would be required to do, the amount of exploration of areas, and the amount of individual work you have to do at a university would be significantly higher. The career I tend to use that in somewhere like China or other countries, they would give you maybe 70% of the information you need to be very successful in your courses, and thirdly, it's flipped. here in the UK and here in Britain, usually they'll give you 30 to 40% what you need to know, and the other 60 to 70 is your own effort, your own work, and your own research in making sure that you can keep up with the program and that you also go on to succeed, not only academically, but also in terms of developing yourself as a person while studying with us. What kind of Chinese students do you think you want to recruit? Good ones is the that summer. We really want, we have a reasonable number of Chinese students here on campus, by no means as much as some other universities, and we just want students who will come, who will integrate, and who will work hard while they're here. Do we have a spring semester application period? Lancaster, thanks again, Jasmine. Lancaster's intake is only for October. All of our programs start in October. We don't have other intakes for the courses here at the university. Are we looking for smart people or creative people? Both, depends. Really, if you can be smart and creative, that's the perfect mix. So we'll have that, if that's all right. In English literature, look, English literature for us is an and the some of the part-time be excellent. How are you doing? Yeah, we would have to have a.
Your voice is a bit delayed, Carl.
Sorry, I'll keep going with Cynthia. Cynthia, can you still hear me?
Yes, it's just a little bit delayed. Maybe if you switch off the camera, I think it will be more smoothly.
Yeah, so let's do that. Could be internet connection. So Cynthia, we would need to look at your entire application. So that would be your academic qualifications, your English language qualifications. For Lancaster, we're looking for letters of reference from your academics, as well as a very strong statement of purpose or personal statement. And then on the whole of your application, we would make a decision. Your GPA seems to be in the correct range for us, but we base the entire decision on your overall application once it comes through. Dana, thank you. You finished your Masters in English country, so do I need a TOEFL or IELTS to prove my English to study PhD? That is a good question. Typically, if you've not studied a full 3-year undergraduate program, we would usually look at IELTS, and a lot of our programs do actually insist on IELTS anyway if you're coming from overseas. That would certainly be checkable once you go to apply, and IEC Abroad will be able to support you in asking that question to the admissions team, who would answer that question directly. But normally, if you're coming to study with us and haven't completed a full undergraduate degree in a majority English country, we would look for IELTS. Does Lancaster University have pre-masters in philosophy or religion? Our pre-masters is actually operated by Lancaster ISC, and they have a website which is lancasterisc.com, I believe, or .ac.uk, and you can have a look at those. If you just Google Lancaster or search Lancaster ISC in whichever search engine you choose, it will bring up their page for you and it will tell you exactly which routes are available into the main programs. So what is the average, Nasser, a good question again, what is the average amount of money for students to come to Lancaster? Typically, depending on the program you're studying, the fees will be at top end. If we pick the top end, the top end would usually be about £23,000. For accommodation and all of your living expenses, we would guess, or we would estimate that about £10,000 per annum would be enough to live here in Lancaster. That's pretty much the same as the visa guidance. The amount you need to show for your visa is roughly what it would cost here at Lancaster. All in, between fees and accommodation, about £33,000 per year per course of study. That will obviously depend on what you are studying, either master's programs or undergraduate programs, but that's very much the kind of ballpark area that we're talking about.
Thank you. I think we're nearly at the end of the time, and we got the final questions to answer from Song En-xian. It say, if the average grade is 70, can he apply for master degree in Taiwan?
So that's right on that borderline of what we would accept as the minimum requirement. Again, what you would need to do is prepare your application, get all of your documentation together. Depending again on the intake for Lancaster is extremely popular, so some of our programs are actually operating waiting lists and have closed for applications at this point of the year. But certainly we would be able to tell you more about the likelihood of acceptance once we had seen the full package of your application. Okay. So do Lancaster students who graduate finance major apply for master's program? Yes is the answer to that question, but our marketing program is programs that are currently on waiting list status, but our marketing program here at Lancaster is designed for students who haven't got significant academic or professional background in marketing, and is to give students the skills and knowledge they need to work in the marketing field, no matter what subject area they studied for their bachelor's degree. Jasmine, your question. If you fail to achieve some of your results, will you be admitted because of the thinking of some students? I am not sure what you're asking there. Is it if you're saying that if some students decide not to accept their place at Lancaster and places become available, would you be offered a place if there were no other qualified candidates? Is that what you're asking? So Jasmine, if you can have a think about that and rephrase the question, that would be really helpful. Sham, how are you doing? Very nice to meet you. You're from Saudi Arabia and you have a scholarship and you need to apply for your PhD in English literature. Would you please advise me to allocate a suitable supervisor? Interesting question. Our first point of call for finding supervisors is to have a look at the faculty pages for each of the program areas. On those pages, there is usually a section for future students where you will get to have a look at which research areas each of the academics is engaged in, of interest are, and then from there you narrow the list. Again, the way for PhD is to really contact them, see which areas they're actually looking to recruit PhD students in, see if it's possible that you're in matches up to them before completing the application process.
Okay, I think that's all the questions. And thanks for everyone attending today. And then we will see you next time. We will have more upcoming webinar for other universities and other topics. So if you please follow us on social media and go to IEC Abroad website to fill inquiry form, and we will get back to you and answer all the questions. And I will see you next time. And thanks for Carol again. Bye.
Bye.